Bags down, spikes on. Welcome to the track. Hi, I'm your host, Colin Weitzman, with your guest, Toby Makiyawo. Think we got it? Okay, you told me a couple seconds ago. We still might have messed that up. He is a European U20 world or U20 champion, windy 990 with a 10-112 personal best. Also a 6.64 coming out of Boston by way of England. Toby, thank you for joining us today, man. Really appreciate it. Before we go any further, I want to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Manscaped. As track athletes, we're going to be running tons of miles every week and can be really sweaty and gross after a hard day of practice, but those days are behind us. Manscaped just sent me their brand new performance package, which comes with the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold all your goodies. Look, I've tried a lot of razors in my day, but the Lawnmower 4.0 is just different. Its ceramic blade helps reduce grooming accidents, LED light allows you to shave anytime, anywhere, and since it's waterproof, you can even take it in the shower if you want. When shopping with Manscaped, use code TWN at checkout to get 20% off your entire order, plus free shipping worldwide. Show up to your next meet looking good. If you want to be the best, you gotta look the best. Link is in the description, and now back to the video.
It's a pleasure, man. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, this should definitely be a good one. Before we get into any track and field stuff, so you're coming from the UK over from England over here to the United States. So when you came here to Boston for maybe your visits or to come here for school, was that your first time in the States or had you been here before?
Now, what's crazy is like I lived in the UK my whole life, but I was actually born in Florida, so technically I'm from the US. But I was born in Florida, so I've been to the US like I'll say twice. I went to Boston when I was young for a ski trip, and obviously I went to Florida for my cousin's wedding. And obviously I was born here, so you can say 3 times, I guess. Yeah. There
you go. Where in Florida were you born?
I was born in Opa-locka, so it's just near Miami. Yeah.
There you go. So I bet you a lot of the because I know here in the United States that Texas versus Florida banter goes all the time. Don't let people figure that out because you might get thrown into the mix. Like,
I mean, I wouldn't mind. I'm over Florida, so I wouldn't mind personally.
There we go. And so when you like you said, you're from the UK. Most of your life is that's where you spent your time. What would you say is the biggest culture shock or just difference? What's the biggest thing that we do differently here in the US that you may not see all the time over in the UK?
I think like everyone's just very social. You know what I'm saying? Like in the UK, everyone is about their own business more so. Maybe because I'm in college, but I feel like being a college student, everyone's very social, very different. I'm kind of a shy person, like just by nature. So I'll say that, and like, I don't know, maybe like the food and stuff, everything's so much more like enhanced, like it's so much more salt and sweet. Everything's just so much sweeter. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I prefer it personally, but yeah, I think that's probably been the main 2 things that I've like been different. And in terms of track, like just training is harder, but obviously we'll get onto that. Yeah, but training is just so much harder in this country. Yeah.
Oh, really? So is it just because put a bigger emphasis on track, or like the workouts are different, or what's kind of different there?
Yeah, I think track seems to be bigger here, like a lot bigger. Like even though like during like the indoor season, like the BU had like a thing where like we couldn't like allow external guests into the track and tennis center, the indoor center when we were competing. The atmosphere was still crazy. Like I remember when I ran my record for the school in December in 2021, like the atmosphere was just crazy. So, and like that was when there was no guests. So like apparently the stadium was normally packed. And like that won't happen in the UK. Like UK trials, it's nothing compared to like Texas relays for me. Like the meet itself, the amount of people, I haven't witnessed that since I went to obviously Estonian talent when I won the European U20 championship. So I'll say that's a big difference. And obviously with the workouts and stuff, I mean, I feel like when we have a recovery day in the UK, like it's a recovery day, it's like nothing, like maybe you'll stretch, but a recovery day here, you still do like a workout essentially. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was the key difference. And like, it's no more volume based things. I think S&C is a lot different as well. Well, for me, anyways, I'm like how I used to be coached back home. It's like a big progression, but I think I adapted to it a lot, quite well. I mean, in terms of like the aerobic side of things, like I came from soccer, as you know, like, as I mentioned. So like doing like the longer workouts wasn't like too much of like a difference, but I think it was more so like the intensity and like how much we do. Like the warm up is just longer, the workouts itself, like the length is more like 2 hours. I would train like 1 hour back home. So those were like the biggest differences that I would say.
Yeah. And apologies, you can hear that there's a train going by. Of course, it decides, right. I guess it's the 8:33 train here. So apologies on that. But yeah, like I've definitely seen there be, whether it's the, food or the workouts you're doing on the track, like there can be a whole bunch of differences going on in between the two areas. And so, for you, could you kind of share what your growth was, as an athlete, as a kid? Like we said, you started off, playing soccer. Like, did you ever envision track and field being the sport that you would be good at, or how did that kind of progress?
Yeah. So I feel like up until the age of like 16, I was a dual sport athlete. So I was doing track and soccer at the same time. I was more so leaning towards soccer because I come from West London. Like most of my childhood friends, they're not professional football players. So like for me, it was like football was like the kind of the root in terms of sport anyways. But like my parents obviously knew that, I mean, in the UK, making as a professional football player is extremely, extremely hard. Like it's like literally the 1% of the 1% make it. So it came to a point where like I stopped pursuing football, and then obviously I was always the fastest on the sports day. I won my like county championships multiple times. So then my coach back home in UK called Peter Griffiths, he found me at like a high school meet. You can call it, obviously call it secondary school, but a high school meet. And then from then, like he coached me. Where he was based was like an hour and a half away from where I lived. So I went to him initially, then I went to a club near me. And then after that, I started seeing that I actually enjoyed the sport. But then I feel like because I was kind of smart, I kind of tell that the coach near me was not the same, was not as good as the coach that was an hour and a half away from me that first recruited me. So I told my parents, like, I really want to do well in the sport. So are you okay with taking me like to Watford, which is like an hour and a half away, instead of me training at Hillingdon, which is like 20 minutes from me? And they were like, initially they were like, I'm not sure about that because of the time commitment, but eventually they gave in. And then from then I just progressed. And I feel like my breakthrough was when I quit football. And then the following year, I went to the British Senior Indoor Championships, and I came away with a medal. That was the year that I ran 6'6". I think I was 16. I ran that at 16, obviously seen as like incredible. But then obviously that was the COVID year. So then I remember coming outdoors, ran so late in the season, I ended up running like a 10.6. And obviously it doesn't really correlate, but obviously because the training was all messed up and things. Yeah, that was really the season though, that was like my breakthrough season, when I was able to like win like a senior medal at the age of like, I think 16, 17. Like that was like the biggest thing. I came third at UK trials. I think that was meant for the World Championships. I came third in that competition. So that was when I knew that, okay, cool, that track could be something that could go further. And then like here I am now.
Wow. Did you know like that 6'6" was that fast, or was it kind of like I did well and didn't really realize how impressive that time actually was?
Now, I feel like for me, like as soon as I go into the sport, I became so educated about it. Like I started researching times, started looking at like people that came before me, like Adam Jamili, Reece Prescott, all those guys. I would look at the times they used to run at my age. And I remember like, I think Adam Jamili probably ran around 6'6" as well at the age I was at that time. So like I was like, when I first opened up during that season, I went 6'7", I went from like 6'9", 6'7" in a space of a season. That was like wow already. And then I got chosen to go to Austria. And then I remember running 6'7" in the prelims. And I was like, okay, cool. Like you could be one of the 15 years to go 6'6", and then bang, it just happened. And then I was over the moon. So I knew, I was so happy.
What did the recruiting process look like for you? Because I mean, being an international student, and I know I was reading an article on you and saying how, coaches might have been a little weary where it's like your indoor seasons did really well, but like you mentioned, then you had the 10-6 outdoor, so it didn't correlate quite as well. Like what was the, what was the recruiting process like for you, and how you ended up at BU here?
Yeah, I think it's crazy. I feel like, I don't know, me and my friends always joke about it, but I feel like for most of us, BU chose us. Like Coach Saunders is the only coach that would like actually had like belief in our ability whether we ran the times or not. Like most of us didn't run the times that we wanted to, but Coach Sanders saw that we had the potential to be great. Like I was being recruited by some Power 5 schools like Purdue, FSU, schools like that. My dream school was University of Florida, but obviously I ran 6'6" and my personal best was 10'8" when they were recruiting me. So they thought that I was like a 60-meter specialist, but obviously it was clear like I'm 6'2", 6'1". I'm not a 60-meter specialist, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, Coach Sanders looked at my footage, and it was him and the Harvard coach that actually believed in me like the most. I just chose BU because obviously I'd be on a full scholarship here, and Harvard is done by financial aid, so my parents would have to pay a certain amount of money for me to come here. But yeah, I think the recruiting process was just difficult, man, because like I really wanted to go to like a USC or like Florida or like an LSU, but I think they're very much time focused because they have so many people that want to go to the school, so they have to have a way to kind of like sift through like all of the recruits. Like if someone's running 10-2 at that time, they know, okay, cool, this guy's a legitimate guy. But if I'm running 10-6 and like 6'6", it's like so inconsistent that they can't really afford to like take the risk on betting on me. But Coach Sanders saw my footage, he saw the way I ran, he saw that there was so many technical things to improve, and he was like, hey, like, yeah, I see something in this kid. And then the following year I ran 10-2 and it was like, yeah, I made the right decision. So
yeah, I bet you a lot of the coaches right after that were like, dang, like, and it was legit.
Exactly.
Yeah, might have gotten a couple emails like, hey, like, we messed up, I'm sorry. So, but want to transition over a little bit. So many people, obviously you've got killer speed, but a lot of people might actually know you from TikTok, where you have 2.8 million likes over on TikTok. And you're growing, and something that I do want to talk about in a second, which we'll transition to this, is into the brand. But what got you into doing that and posting? I see like you and I know Sean Maswanganya, he's big into TikTok too with sprinting. Like what got you into, taking over that platform a bit?
Yeah, so I have to pay homage to the first person who really started like the track TikTok like movement. It's obviously my friend Richard Bullen. He's at the university as well. He's a triple jumper, and he started off as giving advice to like D1 athletes, and then he blew up and got like 180K on TikTok over like the summer of 2021. So I saw that, and I contacted him when I committed here. I was like going through the roster, trying to meet people. Spoke to him. Me and him got along straight away. I was like, bro, I've seen you on TikTok. Like this stuff you're doing is amazing. He gave me advice. Then obviously I started doing it for a bit. Then I stopped doing it because like this is so long. Then I started like listening to podcasts on like, I don't know if you heard of Need and Dough. They like interview like LeBron James, all these people, understanding like their finances and how they build their brand. And I was like, cool, I'm in track and field. Like track is not a sport where athletes get paid a lot. Like that's a whole nother conversation. But you've probably seen a lot of things. Like Aaron Brown already released something like saying how like it takes a lot for someone. Like let's say in the top 10, you're not gonna get paid a lot, you know what I'm saying? So like I knew that I have to find another way to kind of build my brand and also become like a track influencer. So I started doing that over like the winter break, and then one of my videos just blew up, got like 3.1 million views. And from then, just been continually building it. And then I was like, you know what? Like I might transition to Instagram as well. Created macro sprints, and then that literally blew up like yesterday. Like I posted a video of Christian Coleman like doing the sprint drills before his race. And then bang, got like nearly 500,000 like. So I feel like I think it's just key. Like I feel like a lot of people don't like showing what they do. They're kind of scared people are gonna judge them. But end of the day, man, like wherever I ran like a 10-3 next week or a 10-1, like I like to just show my journey in the sport. Like I've been through a lot of injuries, a lot of setbacks, and like I feel like any young athlete will want to see like that type of side of the athlete. I want to just show them like, yeah, that you can make it to this point, and like this is all the stuff I'm doing to get to this point, if that makes sense. I want to just be like an inspiration. Like end of the day, man, like I feel like when you have a platform, you have to just do good, you know what I'm saying? Like most of my stuff that I do, I give advice. I want people to just like learn from me and like learn from my mistakes. And then I feel like this makes the sport a better place. It brings more publicity to the sport. And yeah, man, I think it just helps the sport overall. Like if I'm doing it and then somebody else does it, like Sean, just creates like a whole like wave, and then all of a sudden you have all these guys on track just taking over the whole of TikTok. Just brings all this money and attention to the sport. So yeah, that's the main thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's really relatable too. I mean, no athlete out there, or very, very few athletes out there, are going to go out and PR every single race. Like, whether you're, a D1 athlete or, you're JV, freshman or sophomore kid. Like you might set a PR one day and then you run the worst race of your life the next week. Like that's just track and field. And so seeing that, hey, look, Toby does that too. And he's one of the top sprinters in the country. It's like, okay, all right, I'm not going to beat myself up over it. Cause like, I'm not the only one,
Exactly. I feel like you need to just, I don't know, like this idea of like only showing the good, I don't really like it. Like I want to show every part of aspect of my like training, every part aspect of me, you know what I'm saying? So people can just like learn and like see like the real thing. I feel like social media just shows, again, the good. Like I want people to just see the whole picture and see that the journey has like loads of bumps, but if you're persistent, you can really get to like where you want to be. And it's like, even if it's like you're running 15 seconds and you get down to 30 seconds just by me like giving you tips and like me motivating you, like that's something, you know what I'm saying? That's my main thing. And eventually I'm gonna release like a speed program that's just gonna kind of just follow my journey and like show people what I did to get to the point. And it's probably gonna go from all the way from when I first started the sport up into the Olympics. I'm gonna keep updating the program and showing them like my improvements, my developments, and then like just allow people to just follow my journey that way.
Yeah, I mean, to kind of go off of that, I mean, April 14th, 2022, came out with the tweet. You said, if you don't build your brand now, you'll regret it later. Trust me.
Yeah.
Can you kind of touch on, how you've been developing your brand and how you came up with this idea? Because this is not a normal thing in track and field. Like not many athletes develop their brand. So to have this idea is it's new. So could you, share how you got here and, what your kind of goals are when it comes to brand development?
Yeah, of course. So, I think it was mainly over the 2021 summer. Like I go into like videography and photography. And like for me, that was like a major skill that's really helped me to like create content that people want to see. I mean, using your iPhone is amazing, but like I want to take it to the next level. And like I've been documenting like from when I won Euros. I made a whole documentary at that competition in itself alongside winning the competition. From then up until now, I've been documenting my whole journey, documenting the team journey. And like, I just plan on like eventually create like a media deal with like a big company where they then come in, they get all the footage that I've already taken, and then they start bringing in their own camera crew and then video like the behind the scenes. I think the future of track can really be very much so in storytelling. Because at the end of the day, especially for sprinting, I'm gonna focus more on sprint just because that's my sport. Like the race is only 10 seconds, but we put in a year's amount of work. And it's like, the spectators won't see that. All they see is who wins the race. But if you can really give them like a story and they can watch this, then they'll just appreciate the sport a lot more. And I think as well, like when speaking about more so about money, like monetizing your brand is very key. Like you have influencers like Messiah Russell, like they're probably getting like, she also had an NIL deal with WWE, things like that. With the new NIL and being an NCAA, like you can't just expect to get deals if you haven't got a big following. That's just the sad reality. Like no matter how well you're performing. I think Michael Williams released an article on that. I think he quoted in an article saying that he would went to football if he knew that these would be the type of deals that we get, even though he's like one of the best in the sport. So I feel like if you want to be getting those big deals, like the reality is you have to just be like a common influencer, and like I want to make money as well. So I was like, you know what, let me just go down this path and then see what deals come on top of it. Because like, let's say I go pro 2 years from now and I have like 200k on TikTok, I have like, I don't know, 50k on Instagram, and my other page just grows up to like 100k. Like any brand's gonna want to work with me, not just because I'm a good sprinter, but because I have like a very, very good reach across the whole of the track. And like, even though I may not be the best at the time, like people will still look up to me because I really show them like who I am, show them what I'm doing, and I'll kind of create like a relationship between me and my fans. So I think that's the main thing. So yeah.
I mean, an athlete that has done that really well earlier, I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but Nick Simmons, he was a 800 meter runner here in the United States. And he's got one of the biggest running YouTube channels. And he'll go like, hey, race me, down the street. And if you beat me, I'll give you $100 or, things like that. Yeah. And it's like, he hasn't competed since 2017, 2016. So it's like, he's not an athlete in the sense of, a pro runner anymore, but you can still make this content. So it's like, if you're an influencer like that within sprinting, it's like that can last way past your career. And that can also go past, hey, you can have a bad season, but you're still making content. So you're still bringing money in. So it's like a lot of people don't seem to be, thinking that way. And it's nice that you are, at 19, well, 20 now, happy birthday, doing this on your birthday, by the way.
Yeah.
Wild. I wouldn't be doing this on my birthday. So kudos to you.
I appreciate it. But yeah, I think the main thing is the NIL thing as well. Like, I feel like the Boston track team itself could be like, I feel like we are the best team in terms of sprints in the Northeast. I feel like any person coming here from the Northeast, like, it's gonna be hard for us like to beat the team, especially in the 4x4, 4x1 as well. We have recruits coming in, another guy from the UK called Michael. We got Logan Papelka coming in, Liam Gare. They run like 46, 47 in the 400s. Like, we have like a very like good program. And obviously you've probably seen Speed City on the Flow Track, on Flow Track, the Houston documentary. Like, I want to create something like that for the Boston team, and like just bring a lot of attention to the sport, and to the Boston track team in our area first, and then just expand from there. So, and that's when I think the NIL deals will come in mainly. I think it's the media aspect of things that people are kind of like taking for granted. So that's what I'm trying to push that like a lot. So
yeah, I mean, things are definitely just getting started. I mean, we're seeing, Matthew Bowling, he's got a Dunkin' Donuts, deal and things like that. So, who's to say that I think a lot of these brands are starting to realize, how big these, people are. Like, there's a lot of names right now that are massive. Abby Steiner's, all over the place. Josiah Marshall, like you mentioned. I mean, I know Sean Massman, like all these guys and girls are becoming huge names and can only prove to be helpful, in the future when we're able to, brands start realizing like, oh no, there's money in this, and you're helping yourself out with it.
Exactly.
With that, kind of a little off the track, one of your TikToks that I thought was really interesting, and a lot of people might not agree with you. You're saying a track phase that everyone should skip was not celebrating after your races. Now, I personally agree with you wholeheartedly. I think that is something that people need to do more of. But we also see a lot of the, people that have been in the sport for a long time being like, no, act like you've been there. We'll give you like your 30-second, your minute reasoning on why you shouldn't just act like you've been there and you should celebrate after a race.
I feel like, for example, you win, I don't know, let's say NCAAs, because I'm in the college system, you win NCAAs, let's say that's the one race that you win in your career for whatever reason it is, like the one like big race you win. Like, imagine looking back on it and you didn't celebrate or nothing. Like, the media just remembers you as that person just walked off. Like, me personally, I want to show my personality. So like, when I ran 990, you saw me, I ran another 50 meters, started doing whatever. Like, I want people to just see that that's my like character. I'm like charismatic, you know what I'm saying? I mean, some people, I guess, because they're not like that, they can just do whatever they want to do. But for me, celebrating is just like, I don't know, it just releases all the emotions, man. Like, I've worked the whole year, so why can't I just celebrate? Like, I just heard, I mean, in America, I'm hearing that you can get DQ'd if you celebrate before the line or something. But that's fair. If you're a high schooler watching this, like, yeah, don't celebrate if you're gonna get DQ'd. But for me, it's like, just show your character, show your personality, because at the end of the day, you're helping yourself, you're helping your brand, and you're helping the sport. You're making it seem a lot more entertaining. So that's what I'd say.
Exactly. Like it's so much more fun when you see people, going, enjoying themselves. You see the personality. So I agree with you there wholeheartedly. And then want to do a little transition here. So recently, at the time of recording this, I guess when this is coming out, it's been a little while, but you're coming off of an injury. And so you're going to be making your return. Could you kind of touch on, what happened and how that might have affected you, not only physically, but mentally going into this outdoor season?
Yeah, so I got in an accident where I felt very awkwardly, and then when I felt awkwardly, I don't know, my muscle just pulled. It was a weird accident, and then I had like a small tear. Luckily, the tear was like a few centimeters from my tendon. If it was near my tendon, I would have to get surgery. So I was just like thankful to God. But I feel like for me, it's like, even though I got injured, like, I don't know, I've broken my hip, I've broken both my toes. Like, I've had a massive tear in my hamstring, had a mad issue in my knee. Like, this has all been in my track career, and I always came back better. So for me, it was like, it's just a setback. I know that I can beat this. Like, my body heals quick. I'm so young. Like, if I do all the right things, and obviously I'm in America, I have like amazing physios. When I was getting injured before, when I had an avulsion fracture in my hip, it was just me. I went to physio for 2 weeks, and it was just me just doing my own stuff to get back to like where I am. And it's like, when I see people like Trayvon Bromell go through all what they've gone through and come back and run 9.7, like me having a small tear, like, isn't gonna like impact me. I mean, I feel like for the first few days, you think, wow, like this has really happened. Like, and you see like people going like 9-9 that like you beat or whatever. And like, yeah, that affects you. But at the end of the day, man, like you can't really watch on others like that. You have to focus on yourself, focus on your journey. And like, this is just like a specific part of my story, you know what I'm saying? Like, for me to say, oh yeah, I tore my quad, came back and did this, I can just say like, yeah, it was an amazing journey, you know what I'm saying? Like, and again, it also makes you like, I don't know, just like not take for granted like running. Like, I just like keeping like, when I wasn't running for like the 4 weeks, like I just missed the sport so much. Came back today, did my like first leg session. I was just so happy. Like, yeah, it's a reminder that I actually genuinely love the sport. I mean, I feel like there are people in the sport who don't love it as much as they say, you know what I'm saying? But for me, like, this is everything. Like, my journey, like, being able to show it off to people as well. And like, yeah, like, the injury didn't like take a lot out of me, that makes sense. So yeah, I'll be back soon. Yeah, very soon. So yeah.
There we go. By the time you're listening to this, you might have actually just have ran, you know, with your at regionals, depending. My my mental clocks are so off right now, but you might have so, you know, looking forward with the remainder of the year. I mean, obviously we got the World Championships coming up this year. You know, you got NCAAs, you got a lot of stuff. How do you qualify with with Great Britain for that yet, or is it okay? Good.
So basically, because I ran 10-1-2, I qualified for the European Championships. I mean, I'm ranked third right now currently in the UK. I qualified for Commonwealth Games based on the times, which is like a big competition for me. That's like my aim. It's in my it's at home, it's in Birmingham. World Champs is 10-5. I mean, I think it's doable. But I think for me, it's more about development. Like, I mean, yeah, we all know achieve the highest, but like, I feel like for me personally, the best developmental season would be for me to go to Commonwealth Games and European Juniors and possibly to the Worlds as part of the relay team. But then again, like if I go and run, I don't know, 9-9 or 10-0, then I'll do my best at the trials, and then whatever happens, that makes sense. Like, it'll be an incredible achievement. But I feel like for me, and I think about my brand, like going to Commonwealth Games, I like medaling. That would probably be the best thing for me. But yeah, like I'm just seeing where everything takes me and just taking things step by step. So.
All right, awesome. Well, last question for you. You've mentioned you want to build your brand a lot here. You're from UK. You're here in the US. Which do you focus on more, building your brand in the UK or building your brand here in the US, if there is any difference?
I think it overlaps, because I think based on my demographics on TikTok, most of my viewers are from the US. I'm in the NCAA system. That's the main reason. And obviously posting times as well. I post here. Obviously UK is like 4 hours ahead. But then like everybody in the UK watches the NCAA system. Like, it's like one of the most entertaining track systems in the world. Like, everybody knows who wins NCAAs. Everybody knows all the track stars in NCAA. So I feel like if I focus on the US, I'm going to tap the UK market anyways. And like coming back home, I'm always going to be up there. If I'm always an NCAA final, always an NCAA finalist, always running the NCAA system, like I know that I'm going to do well at the trials, and then I'll tap that market automatically. So I think, yeah, that's the main thing. Yeah, I'll say that overlap. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely been awesome seeing someone that is, you know, just a teen now 20. Happy birthday once again. Actually paying attention to not just running fast, but all that extra stuff, because you know that compounds, and by the time you know you're 22, 23, 24, it's like you already got this base, and you might have a jump start on all those people that you know might not have paid attention to it. But Toby, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been great speaking with you. You know, where could people go if they wanted to follow up on you anymore as well?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, you can follow my Instagram, @Mako_. My sprints page as well. I post the most on that. It's Mako Sprints _. And obviously my TikTok is @Mako with 00. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's going to do it for us. Thank you, Toby. And thank you to everyone for listening. This has been another episode of Track World News. If you want more content, go and follow us over on Instagram @Track World News. We post nearly daily over there, different highlights, clips, podcast episodes, things like that. Well, have a good one. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.